Hey guys, welcome to Tesla Evangelist. Brandon here, and I am about to take my fourth cross-country trip from Michigan to Southern California, and then up to Northern California, well, the Bay Area, and then back to Michigan. So this is the fourth time I've done this. I've gone to California twice before, and I've gone once to the East Coast from California. The difference is now those trips were in my 70D Model S, which was a 2015, had Autopilot 1, had a range of probably 230 miles, but in the winter that was probably more like 180, and the charging maxed out most of the time under 100 kilowatts. Now I have the Model X, which is a 100 kilowatt hour battery, uses a little bit more energy, but has an estimated range of, well, it's rated at 295, that's a little bit generous, and the winter, probably something like 200 miles on a really cold area. I also have snow tires this time, still have all-wheel drive, and the Model X now peaks out at charging at 150 kilowatts. So a couple of differences there. That's going to allow me to charge faster for longer, which means I'll be spending less time at superchargers. And for ones that I have to spend a little bit extra time at, whether going to the bathroom or getting a bite to eat or something like that, I will be able to use more of that time for extra charging, and I'll be able to skip superchargers. Also, there are more superchargers now, so check this out. All right, I am starting over here at Grand Rapids. This is Lake Michigan. Wisconsin is right here. Michigan is right here. I'm in western Michigan. So previously, when I was going to Southern California, which is, I can't fit it all on the screen right here, but right here is Las Vegas, and then Southern California is down here, over 2,100 miles. Now previously, the way I've had to go is all the way down to, let's see, it would route me through Illinois, down to St. Louis, Missouri, and then across here on, I think this is I-70, through Kansas City, basically through the windy flat plains of Kansas, and then a little bit north through Denver, and then I'm pretty sure this is 70, and then it kind of slopes down through Utah, comes down to Las Vegas. Had to go that direction because that's the only, there was no way to get through Iowa and Nebraska. Did not have their superchargers this route completed. So now, instead of taking a little bit of extra distance down this way, now I can kind of go straight across. There's a little bit of northward action right here, but it's a little bit gentler slope. So I've never done this stretch. This is I-80. I should say I haven't done this in the Tesla. I've been on I-80 a bunch of times. So this will be interesting. I don't know if it'll be any colder than it would be or warmer than it would be down here. It still goes through Denver, which is great because I love going through the Rockies right here. And then all that will be the same. So I think that's going to save me a little bit of time. You can see the different routes. It's not the greatest difference. This is estimating 1 day, 9 hours with the southern route, and then the above route, which I guess you can't see the estimation, is 1 day and 7 hours. So it's not a whole lot different, but I'm going to try the northern route through Nebraska, and we'll see how that goes. So it's important on any trip, especially if you're doing an electric vehicle trip, and in the winter, to make sure you know how to figure out if you have enough juice to get to your next destination. So it's quite convenient to have a 100 kilowatt hour battery with a nice round number like that. I don't know if it's exactly 100 kilowatt hours, probably not, but it's close enough to use the estimate. So it's winter right now, so that means we're going to be dealing with cold temperatures, maybe some rain or snow. I have snow tires, which are a softer rubber, so they don't, they have a little bit more rolling resistance than summer tires do, so all that adds up to more energy use. So I'm estimating about 400 plus watt hours per mile. Also there's freeway speed, so if I'm doing 80 or 85 on interstates where they have high speed limits, that's a lot of wind resistance. Oh, and there might be wind out there too, that's also going to slow your car down. or make it use more energy. So 400 watt hours per mile might actually be a little conservative. It might be more closer to 420. That's such a high number. So anyway, so how far can I go? Well, let's use 0.4. So that means if I drive 1 mile, I will use 0.4 kilowatt hours. Turns out that's 400 or 250. Now that I think about it, that is quite high. I would get nervous above 220 miles actually. Previously with the 70D Model S, it's a little bit more efficient, but it was a much smaller battery, so it would charge slower and it wouldn't go as far. I think in the winter, like I really wouldn't go farther than 180 miles, maybe 170. And because it's a smaller battery, it takes longer to charge all the way up, but I had to charge all the way up, or at least, to 80% sometimes more often to make sure I made it. There's one supercharger stretch in Kansas that's like 140 miles apart, and I remember I had to charge for like an hour there just to make sure I got to the next one. Anyway, so that's not going to be as much of a problem with the Model X because I'll have 200 to 250 miles on a full charge. That means that if I take a nap or something like late at night or in the middle of the night and charge all the way to the full battery, that means that, yeah, I spent that extra time, but now I can skip a supercharger. I can go 100 miles, skip that supercharger and go to the next 100 miles, and I don't have to spend that 20 minutes or 25 minutes charging. So that will save time over the trip. How much? We'll see. I'm going to be tracking it, including my energy use, so hopefully that's interesting. I'll try to keep the nerdy stuff kind of brief so that you don't get super bored, and keep a lot of scenery and whatever, maybe even a joke or two. It's going to take, well, Google says that it was 1 day and 7 hours. That's if you just bomb it straight and don't stop. Obviously I have to stop. So that's 24 hours plus 7 is 31 hours. Then the previous trips, charging added about 30%. 30% of 30 would be 10 plus another 2, so maybe a dozen hours. So that takes the trip up to 47, 49 hours. So that's already 2 full days of nonstop driving. So I'm estimating it's going to take about 3 days because I don't know if I'm going to just sleep in the car, or I'll probably stay at one hotel. I don't know. We'll see. Doing 2 nights in a row of just sleeping in the car might be a little much, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. When we went to Florida, I forgot about that trip. I drove the Model X to Florida, and when I took it back from Orlando to Michigan, that was 1,300 miles, and I did that in a total of 27 hours, including a 2-hour nap. So yeah, this is going to be 2,100, so this is an extra 900 miles. So we'll see. All packed up and ready to go. A little later than I thought. Got some good sleep, so now it's like 8:30. But oh well.